Okay, so you may have heard this story. Prince Harry was the director of some sort of, ecological themed company, but he has now stepped down as a director. However, his PR people have said this doesn't change a thing. This doesn't change anything. Well, that throws up an interesting dilemma because if that is the case, then either when he was a director he was failing in his duties, or now he's acting as a shadow director if he's carrying on effectively running the company despite not being officially a director. Um, so let's examine what I actually mean by that. Okay, when you're the director of a company, um, you have certain obligations under the Companies Act 2006, directors' duties. Um, and they are sort of, you've got sort of quite an active role to do. I mean, you do get this thing where people just stick their family members on, as directors. But being a director is quite a responsibility. I mean, the key thing is you have to act in the best interest to promote the success of the company. Because that's your whole point. You owe the duty to the company and, by extension, to the shareholders. I mean, that might be yourself, but you've also got another duty, which is not to engage in any conflicts of interest and not to put your own interests before those of the company. You've got to exercise your reasonable skill, care, and diligence. You have to take an active role in this. You have to do it properly. So, and if you're in breach of these duties, the penalties can be quite severe. You know, the company's law, the company's house can take a very dim view of this, and you might find yourself never being allowed to be a director again. And there are lots of other penalties. But also, you have certain reliefs as well. I mean, if you actually breach, and you can persuade your fellow directors, to have a board meeting, they can pass a resolution saying, well, it doesn't really matter anymore. That can be one way out of it, actually. But if you have resigned as a director, well, then you have no role in the company. But what if you are actually doing all this? Well, you are then what we call a shadow director. If, despite not having any official day-to-day, as official sort of, running of the company, you're not on any of the paperwork and things, and you're not drawing a salary, but you are effectively still running that company. You're what's called a shadow director. And the weird thing about being a shadow director is you still have all the same duties. However, you don't have any of the protections of being a director. So say, for instance, normally if something happens to the company, people sue the company. And, there's this thing called a corporate veil, so they can't go after the people behind the company, like the directors or the shareholders. Well, if you're just a shadow director, and somebody finds that, that you have done something wrong, well, they can just come after you personally. So it's just interesting that. I mean, it might be just an unfortunate choice of words, but yeah, it does. The implication is either he wasn't doing his job properly the first time round, or he is still doing his job, but he's just doing it as a shadow. So there you go. Hope you found that vaguely useful. If you did, please consider clicking the like button and possibly subscribing. And like I said in another video, I've just found out you can share these now, so feel free to do that.